Yes, people, welcome to Never a Foul. Obviously, as you can see, the late ones, it's up to you, and you lot can make up your minds. You know, like if someone had to go reset their router, there's another one that probably is just sleeping on a Monday morning at 11:30. But yeah, man, look. Well, yeah, I know Reaper. Look, I mean, if there's any smoking, anyone that's getting smoked on here is obviously Specs down there in the corner. But yeah, look, we're joined by Martin and Lewis, who is here on time. Lewis is absolutely fried, as you can see. And yes, that is true. There's more reason, like there's more chance of Lewis being happy than these man being on time. No one's ever on time. Let's just put that let's put that straight. But yeah, we're gonna be talking about the weekend's games. Easy to say. Man United getting cruised by Man City 3-1. Probably talk a little bit about the Liverpool part as well, the last minute winners, sustainability, all that stuff that people want to talk about. And then obviously Chelsea. Obviously, we'd like to hear what Lewis has to say. Lewis, I can't lie, I haven't seen your video, but I've seen clips of it. There's this thing going around on Twitter, no context AFTV, even though it's got nothing to do with AFTV. They're posting clips of just about everyone. But yeah, big up everyone. Make sure you smash the like button. And yeah, man, Monday morning. And yeah, we're just gonna dive straight into it. Who better to talk to about Man City than Martin as well? You know, as he said himself just before the stream, like there's only a handful of City content creators, and one that's going to give you an actual truthful part about it is himself. But yeah, man, Martin, how we doing this Monday morning? Fresh week, so I'm just gonna forget about last week. It didn't happen.
Like I said, I'm going to be really kind. There's no point in me. There's no point in me digging it deeper, is there?
I mean, it's up to you. Look, I don't mind. I can handle that. I know the truth about my own club, and that's probably why. No, yeah. That's probably why. Like now, when Man United lose, people don't give a shit because they know what I'm gonna say. Like they've already say, "I told you." Like I've been telling people, "I told you so." There's nothing to back. What's there to back? Do you know what I mean?
And do you know what made it worse? They gave you a little bit of hope. Rashford gave you that little glimmer for about 5-10 minutes, and then Greater Manchester Police had to go, file a missing persons report about him because I don't know where he went. He literally just exit stage right and went. I don't know what he did. Scored the goal and went off the pitch because he might as well have done.
You know what? I was looking back at it and I'm thinking, you know how easy this man could have had a hat trick in the first half. He could. I'm not joking, yeah. So there was records that were broken, right? And I didn't realize it was this one. Man United haven't lost since when they're leading at half time. We haven't lost in over 100 and whatever matches.
Nearly right? 10 years.
10 years, yeah. That record was right. And I'm thinking, you know what? I didn't even know that. I forgot all about that. And I'm thinking about this man there, yeah. I don't think I'll get onto Rashford too tough because he's the only outlook we kind of had that's gonna be anything threatening, right? But I'm thinking like that volley. Not volley. There's one way he took it down, and I'm thinking you've absolutely shanked that. And then there's another one where it's what's it called? He was in on goal, and I'm thinking, how did you allow someone behind you to get in front and tackle you? Like, how does that even happen? I think it's just bollocks. And then it's like, but what else is? And all I see on Twitter, right, is like, oh, what else is a manager gonna do? With that current team. I'm like, I'm not being funny, but if that shit team can go 1-0 up at half time, I'm pretty sure a decent manager would have been a bit more clued up in how to shore up the game a little bit, and then make correct substitutions. But here we are, man.
Say where from minute one we were on it. From minute one we were on it. We were creating chances in the first minute or two. We were straight out the gate early with potency. Atmosphere was a buzz. It was great. It was just. I said it yesterday. It was like a blue wave. It was a blue wave. And people say that first half was bad. We created 18 chances in that first half.
I mean, you had 18 shots. You had 18 shots.
No, pulling off saves. Haaland, for some reason, decides he wants to throw his leg in the air instead. That could have come off his ass. He's left whatever. And do you know what that needed, Cass? And some won't remember this. The Sean Goater treatment. That needed a Sean Goater treatment in off the left arse cheek. Because it could have hit him anywhere and it was in. And he has to do this spectacular jump from the yard out and put it over. So, no, there was the Rodri one, KDB. We were peppering you, but you were defending well. And I thought Anana, first half, was tremendous. Apart from his time wasted, I thought he was tremendous.
Yeah, I thought he was actually quite decent myself. But I thought maybe he could have done better. I don't know about you, Lewis, right? But I thought Anana maybe could have done better for the second goal, at least. Maybe, you know, like if there was a bit of criticism, I thought that Foden shot was quite weak.
Bit of a tight angle, so I could see that.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? Like if that was your goalkeeper, you'd be livid. Like in my opinion,
Yeah, like good game, but you could have done better in that one moment.
Yeah, I thought so. What did you make of the game, anyways? Because you know what, all I could do was I was just trying to compare it to the Chelsea one where you lot went there, but your block went higher up the field as the minutes went on, and before you went back, obviously, you know, Poch tried to defend the lead. About 70th minute? But all I could think of is just do what Chelsea done. Just quickly move the ball and get it down the flanks as quick as possible. If there was any weaknesses within Man City yesterday, was getting the ball quickly and moving it down the flanks, and then obviously because you can't do nothing through the middle, like where Sterling had quite a bit of joy and whatnot. I just thought that would happen, but obviously not. And what Poch done well that game is, in the start, he smelled a little bit of blood, and he thought, you know what, I've got a goal here. You know, don't get me wrong, City were good as well, and they were missing chances, but you kept moving it up the block, not too far, but just to pressure them. And because look how quick Man City were winning it back against Man United compared to Chelsea, right?
Yeah,
exactly. I don't know what you made of the game, but I thought Man United could have got something out of that. But
you could have. Like, it was getting to a point where I'm thinking, Rod, they could actually like hold that 1-0. You guys had a very good first half defensively. Didn't expect it as well. First goal, like, it was a good move from Onana. I don't know if he deliberately meant to do that, if that was part of the game plan, but whatever he tried to do, it worked. Found Bruno. Rashford has an amazing shot. It's 1-0. You guys are holding on to the lead pretty well, bar like the Foden 1v1 chance and that Haaland howler miss. I feel like City just have that air of inevitability about them. As soon as they got the first goal, I thought, okay, cool. Yeah, they've won. That's fine. I don't know when they're going to score the second, but they're going to bag the second. And I feel like you guys came out a little bit towards the last 15, but you didn't need to. And that might have been what kind of cost you.
It made for me, it made no sense, Monts. Yeah, like we spoke about it more in depth yesterday, pretty much for an hour, right? But if you're going to go out in the last 15, right, and then obviously Foden scores anyways, but why would you bring on Amrabat? Why would you bring on Forson? Why would you bring on Anthony out of all people, who's got to do nothing, especially when you're trying to play off the break? The tactics are embarrassing, bro. Like, I'm not being funny. Who goes to the Etihad and tries to defend a 1-0 lead? And like, don't get me wrong, most people.
Nearly everyone who comes.
Yeah, I was going to say my manager.
No, not everyone. But the thing is, no one tries to defend a 1-0 lead. They still try and go for it properly. Do you know what I mean? Like, they don't put like 10 men behind the ball. They will leave 2 players up, like a Tony and what's it called, and a Vissa. They'll keep them up the pitch still. Rashford was playing left back pretty much. That was Jose Mourinho. And I hear what people have to say. Yeah, you said it yesterday yourself. Ollie would have done a better job, right, Monts? But to be fair, I thought about it. It's not like Ten Hag's got Pogba, a better version of Martial and a Mason Greenwood at his disposal, because if you did have them sort of players, maybe it might have been different. But if buts and maybes, coulda, woulda, shoulda. No?
Bro, like,
it's embarrassing. The tactics are embarrassing.
I said it like a week ago, bro. Amrabat runs like he's got low iron deficiency, fam. Like, why the fuck you would bring him on, bro? This anemic baller, bro. I don't understand why you dash him in there and feel like he can. Like, it's a high intensity game, and you need to shut up shop. And you've just conceded a goal, yet your answer is Amari Forson and Amrabat out of position. I just don't get it. Like, for me, I'm not even on Ten Hag for his 90-minute tactics. Like, in terms of, for 79 minutes, I generally think he got it right. I think he got it right. He frustrated Man City. You know, they had their chances, but I think United defended well. The players dug deep. But the changes. like, and I understand. I'm not even talking about who he bought off, because clearly, if they're injured, I understand you have to bring them off. But the like for like changes for me, it wasn't even like for like, but for me, it just kills you, man, innit? And it's a mixture of poor quality and at the same time, City are just that good where you make one mistake and they're gonna punish you, man. And
I'm gonna be honest, Mons. I don't think Man City were that good. I think Man United were that shit. It just goes to show that when it really comes down to the crying moments of Man City wanting to show the quality when they need to, that's what you're gonna get. See, this is the thing: is Man City's shit, like not shit. They weren't shit. They were okay. Yeah, they're moving the ball quick, but they weren't damaging, in my opinion, like the way we all thought they were gonna be.
yeah, in the final third, they were wasteful.
But I thought Man City's okay. It's still better than Man United's defensively that good. You would just
we're bad.
no. You can move.
No.
You can't say fine. No, be honest with yourself. Yeah,
we're better, John.
No. I'm not saying Man United were anything good. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying Man United were great. I'm trying to say, yeah, literally, for what Man City fans are typically used to. Let's say against the Luton Town that you just saw last week, and good performances at Brentford. They battered. I'm not saying Man United are good. I'm saying that even City, they didn't even need to get out of gear 3 or 4 to go and beat Man United, who have to be at their flipping best defensively.
No, I understand. But the way I put it was, we put our foot on your neck within the first minute, and we never took it off.
I don't even think he needed to. I don't think he even done that too much.
I honestly think that was some of the best tempo in the first half we played in a few weeks. It was really good.
I disagree, man. I feel like
I watch him week in, week out. I know what I'm saying.
Bro, but I'm not saying you don't know what it is. I'm saying I disagree. Like, I just feel like,
of course, of course, everyone's going to disagree.
But you know, fair.
Let me learn for a second. Let me learn for a second. Like, for me, that City game wasn't too different from the Chelsea game. It was just a 10-minute difference from that in the Chelsea game. Like, you put your foot on Chelsea's neck, bro. Minute 1, foot on the neck. That's what it was. You battered Chelsea, but the game ended 1-1. You know what I'm saying? Arsenal control games and put the foot on the neck at times and don't score.
But this is why for weeks I've said we weren't playing bad when the narrative was City were playing bad.
No, you didn't be bad.
Because bad's the wrong word. No, because
bad is the wrong word.
Not bad. Obviously, bad is a stretch. Bad's the complete wrong narrative. I think it's more so not being clinical almost, or you're playing well, but there's no cutting edge. That's the way I've described it. City have lacked a bit of cutting edge that they usually have.
Yeah, I understand. I mean, that's why I said we created 73 chances in 3 games. We were playing well. We were just not putting the ball in the onion bag. That ball goes in. We were coming out 4, 5s, and 6s nearly every game. It was just we couldn't put the ball in the net. But I'm not saying anyone. But there was by many there was this narrative that City were just not.
You were
right there.
Yesterday, you were average. Come on, man. Like for a City standard, that was an average performance. Because that's normal for City to move the ball about quickly. It's normal for Man City to create chances. I'm just saying, in terms of what your quality and what we hold. Remember, Man United's bar is not Man City's bar. So when we call Man United bad and shit, it doesn't mean that City were flipping anything near that, because they weren't. Like, I just thought your average performance was still more than enough to beat Man United's great defensive display, but obviously crap attacking display. I don't know about you, Lewis, yeah, but let's do it like this. If you had to name me 5 players that were outstanding for City yesterday, outstanding, by the way, name me 5. Go on, let's go through it.
Foden.
Go on.
That's it.
This is what I'm saying. No, there's a couple more in my opinion that were quite outstanding. No. I'll say Nathan Ake was outstanding in the second half.
Rodri.
I don't think Rodri was that great.
I don't think anyone else reached it out for me. I'll be so real.
But the thing is, no one needs to be outstanding.
Exactly. So that's not great performance.
If City are outstanding, they'll go win the quadruple. If everyone in City is consistently outstanding, they'll go win the quad. That's as simple as that. Do you know what I'm saying? I'd even argue the Centurions team can give the quad team a good run for their money. Sometimes it's just about the result. I don't think it even needs we even need to say, oh, did City batter United or not? They've done what they needed to do. I feel like the City game and the Chelsea game weren't too much different for me. I just feel like Chelsea managed to hold on, and United substitutions maybe cost them. You know what I'm saying? So for the Chelsea fans in the chat, it's not about say Chelsea are rent free or anything like that.
But-
I think Chelsea
yeah.
have done well defensively and managed to hold on.
And by the way,
when I speak about
Rodri was
Man City,
outstanding yesterday. Rodri
When I
was
speak-
outstanding.
I don't think Rodri was outstanding. I thought that was just a normal average performance from Rodri. I don't.
Yeah, but
think
he's outstanding 99% of the time, Cass.
Yeah, I hear it.
No
but-
one mentions it. This is the point.
No one mentions it. I said Rodri's the best player in the world.
No, Cass, you speak with Daps and you say to Daps, is Rodri outstanding there every week? He'll go, yeah.
Yeah, no, but we.
That's the thing. Do you know, it becomes like do you know when a player drops an 8 or a 9 out of 10 week after week after week after week, you don't hear about him because it suddenly becomes like the narrative of he's just going to do that every week.
Yeah, but Rodri that was for me. Rodri wasn't a 9 or a 10. It was a 7 because he didn't have to do much. That's what I'm trying to say. Like it was. Yeah. Wait. Hold on. Last time I checked, yeah, we're from an era that we don't give a shit about stats. We talk about the overall performance.
No,
like,
I know. He controlled that midfield yesterday.
Yeah, but that's normal.
Bernardo, outstanding.
Bernardo was not outstanding.
But hold on. Can I say something?
Where was Bernardo still outstanding?
Hold on. Do you know what's funny though? And I know this is if buts and maybes, but you see how like do you know why I keep comparing this to the Chelsea game, guys? Because when Chelsea drew to City, it was all like everyone started having to say that this player wasn't good enough, this City player wasn't good enough, this City player wasn't good enough. 79 minutes in that game. If United get a draw from that game, Rodri's performance suddenly isn't outstanding. Ake's performance suddenly isn't outstanding. Like all these, it's literally the last 10 minutes of that game. That last 10-minute capitulation turns what I, in my opinion, felt like was a decent City performance.
It's like Man United versus Villa. Man United 1-1, all of a sudden win 2-1, and all of a sudden all these players are great.
But it's fine. That's the Premier League, isn't it? It's fine margins.
John Stones. By the way, I've named like 8 now.
Oh, wait, there you go. John Stones was actually outstanding.
I'll tell you was crap yesterday. Haaland wasn't great despite scoring. KDB was sort of knackered the whole game.
Doku, crap.
I thought Doku was decent yesterday.
Doku was crap.
I'm going to ask you a question. What are you expecting from Doku?
I expect him to do more. That's what I'm saying. As in, like,
what? There's a point to me.
I mean, in a low block is a bit of a different story, I suppose, right? And I know that's Doku's not his finest hour, right? But with Doku, I don't think he was I don't think he was having a better at the low. I know he kept passing the ball back. I know he actually created something though. He did, but he wasn't good. Like, to be fair, he was pretty much after doing what he had to do with his dribbling, he put the ball into nothing. Like, he literally didn't create much. He didn't really put a stamp or mark on the match, in my opinion. Everything was coming through Foden. Everyone knew that was watching that game. If something was going to happen, it was happening through Foden and only Foden. KDB missing. KDB went to the right, to the left, through the central. Didn't happen for him that game, and that's fine. But look, the whole point is
Jack Grealish doesn't really create.
No. But Jack Grealish does something that many players don't have. The thing is, he will track 2-3 players to try and tackle him because you can't get the ball off him.
Yeah, Doku did.
Yeah, not really. Because Man United fans, we were slating how Garnacho is super lazy and doesn't get back enough. And every time it took him like 2 seconds, in my opinion, to clock on, oh, I need to get back. I thought Delo was all right by himself, to be honest. It was down
for me. People are coming with Doku and expected Leroy Sané rejam. And you would never, because that's what he is as a player. That's not what Pep wants as a winger.
Yeah, but
so you can say to me, why buy him? Because even I've asked, like, why buy him? Because
you know what it is though. I told you, Martins, and I've told Daps, I told most City fans, right? I don't get onto Doku is because one, like that, like I'm not criticizing him because I'll rather be constructive. It's his first season in the Premier League and he's young. Give him time. That's why I say, you know what? You're going to get inconsistencies from a player like Doku. And I think you would know all about that, Lewis, considering how young your team is pretty much all over the gaff. You're going to get inconsistencies and performances throughout it. That's fine. That's why I don't get onto Garnacho. Garnacho has dropped about 1 out of 10 for 4 or 5 weeks straight. But guess what? He's 19 years old and he's playing in a crap Man United at this moment in time. So I don't care about that. Cobby, all of that. Even some of the youngsters for Liverpool. I don't get onto them because they're young and they're inconsistent. It's their first seasons, and give them time to grow, and then we can judge them properly. That's why I didn't get onto Anthony last year. At that point, he was 22. It's his first season. Even though he looked arse and cheeks, and no one really believed it, I thought, let me wait to the second season. Guess what? He's got like 1 assist or 1 goal throughout the whole of 2023. That's arse, right? Sometimes you're old enough, you're good enough, whatever it is. But the whole point is, you know what the maddest thing about this is? This isn't even an insult to City to say that, like criticizing the players. If anything, we're complimenting it because that's the standard. How many times have you not heard about from managers, from players, from fans like us? When we talk about the standard, we talk about the City standard, and nobody even comes close to that City standard. I'm not being funny. Am I wrong?
Nope.
Exactly, because we all aspire to be like City, whether it's through boardroom, whether it's through on the pitch, or whether it's through Pep. We all want that. It's a standard.
All 3 for me.
I just think they want to be glazed for something that they probably should have done, innit? Personally, like that's what it's seeming like to me right now. Because it's like it's not just like I'm not even trying to talk to you, Martin. It's a lot of the City fans. I feel like, understandably, that we get it. You dominated the game. You had a lot more shots than Man United, but you were all that was always going to happen. Like for me, it's the same thing as if you man went to Selhurst Park and went and battered City Crystal Palace. Like that's how shit Man United are. But at the same time, and we're not saying. But by the way, I said I don't think Man City have been crap. I think the narrative that you lot have been crap is why.
Yeah, they haven't been crap.
I feel like you haven't been as. I feel like you haven't been as potent in the final third
as last year.
You usually are. Personally,
no, I'd agree with that. No, it's very weird because, and by the way, and the reason I and cast those this is derbies are derbies, especially in Manchester. City and United, no, form is out the window. We turn around and beat the United team.
You pretty much
got crap. So you know,
you got spot on. You got spot on.
Yeah, for some reason, a derby form just dips out the window.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
Excuse me, I don't know why. That's why there was a little bit of that nervousness. And when Rashford scored yesterday, there was that, oh, here we go, by some fans of like, we knew this was coming. It's a derby. What we weren't expecting was United just to score that and then go and exit stage left. It was, but when you look, and this is the thing with stats, this is why I hate stats, hate them so much. Even though sometimes I use them, but I hate them because for me, I'm old school. I like the eye test. City have more points now than they did last season.
Oh, what, at this stage?
They've scored more goals, and you're like, this is mad. This is like, it doesn't feel. I do want to listen up until about, I'd probably say about 2-3 weeks ago. Probably just after the Chelsea game. I think the Chelsea game gave us a little bit of a, what's the word?
Kick up the arse?
Yeah, we were sort of there. We were simmering, but we weren't there. And then we went, right. And Pep came out with a comment, basically playtime's over. Because you always know there's a point in the season City go, right, virtually strongest 11 now.
Yeah.
And we go. And I think we're at that point with them now.
Yeah, now you're right.
I don't know, man. Like, you guys have more gears. That's the scary thing about your team is that you can do even better than what we saw.
But even in this title race though, Mons, and I think Lewis is obviously as one that's an outsider, not supporting City in that. I think Liverpool got a gear or two to go. I think even Arsenal right now are in a top gear, but for some reason I feel like Arsenal still have more to give for some reason, and I still think City have more to give. Like at this moment of time. Like, you can't watch that performance and say, yeah, they're definitely going to win the 4-peat because Liverpool are scumming their way through and they got Anfield. That could change the whole narrative. That could change the whole narrative. Next week's narrative, if Liverpool beat because of your running and everything, right, Lewis? Don't you think?
Yeah.
All this praise could be gone through one result on 1 week, which is at Anfield. And then before you know it, Bob's your uncle. And then what gears have you got to go when you got teams like Man City and Liverpool, you know how to win 10 games on a bounce?
Yeah, like things always change by the week. Like momentum can switch just like that. If Liverpool can get a result, which I mean, Anfield, big advantage. What time? Do you know what day the kickoff is? When is it?
It's got to be a Sunday, surely.
Sunday late kickoff.
It's got to be. Surely. I'll double check it. But go on.
Okay, yeah, I'll probably suit them.
So yeah, Man City, 5. I don't know why they don't do 3:45.
I think
That
the
was
bigger
on
thing for City is
play.
if they don't get results
surprised.
against Liverpool and Arsenal, because I think you played them in back-to-back league fixtures.
Mm.
So if they don't get a result in either of them, then pressure's really going to start to ramp up on City. But realistically, I think they draw that one and then they smash Arsenal at their grounds after the break.
Can we really call that though? It might, even for yourself. Yeah, look, and I know Man City, Arsenal haven't won at your gaff in I think 9 years now. But if we go off of Chelsea and Tottenham and so forth and that, and the way Arsenal are, I think it's going to be a lot closer game than people expect it to be. Like same way, I think people could expect Man City to go to Liverpool and probably maybe get a win this time around. We've seen weird things this season happen. Like it's a weird season. It is what it is with results, right? Anything can happen. Because when I look at Man City, they look quite prone when there's a counter attack. If Arsenal were to be on the break with a Martin Saka, I wouldn't put it past them to get a goal or two. If Man United can do it, Chelsea can do it, others can do it. Man City are at their best.
Went away.
Yeah,
The Anfield was different.
same way. If Man City want to turn it up and that KDB's on fire, that means the whole team's on fire. If KDB's on fire, the whole team's on fire. It's as simple as that. Same way. Liverpool next week. You know, Salah comes back and has half a game. That Salah half a game can change the whole outlook.
Yeah, but the difference, Arsenal won't come to the Etihad and park 10 up. Liverpool, Anfield won't park 10 up. So next week it becomes a proper straight out, right, let's go, best football wins. Which suits us. Because I don't think you'll give away the ball over the top goals next week out against Arsenal. Because the reason we're doing that, especially at home, because away we're not doing it so much. Away, City are the most, we've got the best away record in the league. We're trouncing people away. And it's really weird because at home, I think this is why you're seeing, I said it yesterday, why you're seeing the overlapping fullbacks from Pep this season. Because what he's trying to do is overload to get round the low block. But what that then does is leave us 2 or 3 men only at the back. So the ball then comes over to break through us, and then you're left with a 2-on-3 or a 1-on-1 with a Stones or a Diaz. But you don't see it so much away because people aren't low blocking up away.
Yeah.
So it's a very, because I sat there and I thought, we all wondered why is Pep giving Walker and Gabardio as these flying wingers? But what's he doing it for? And then I sat there and I went, he's trying to stop this low blocking at the Etihad. It's a way to get round the back.
Again, that was without Stones. That was at that point though, with context, that was without Stones. He tried to put that situation together. Now with Stones,
I was doing it for ages. It was a weird one.
Yeah, look, it's night and day though. With Stones in, and people thought Stones is in, that means Walker's going to come out. Clearly not. Ake, Stones, Walker, and a Diaz. You can see it for yourself once. Look at the difference in night and day and how they've been playing football since Stones has been back the last couple of weeks.
The conclusive thing for me isn't how City's all of defeats have come away from home.
Have they even lost away from home? I don't know if they've lost away from home.
Yeah, but we lost.
They lost to the Molyneux. They lost to Villa Park.
Arsenal. Oh yeah,
they lost
Arsenal.
to Emirates. All three of the losses have been away from home.
Who have you lost to?
Yeah,
Wait,
we've actually got the best away. Check it out.
You know what it is? It might be because
you haven't taken the most. You've taken more points than others, but all your losses have come away from home.
So,
have they lost at home this season? Have you lost at the Etihad this season?
No, they haven't. They haven't.
Well, the trouble is, we dropped more points because we drew, because that was the time when Pep wanted to do his basketball experiment and wanted to.
The draws are killed you, pretty much.
Yeah, that's the thing. And once you know this, 2 or 3 draws are worse than like a defeat or 2.
Oh, 100%.
Like,
100%.
Jesus.
100%.
And this is the problem. Everyone thinks, this is why, and I'm not trying to trigger anyone, why this invincible thing doesn't hold as much water on me, because I'm like, you can draw your way. It doesn't mean, draws are not great. Draws are not great at all.
Yeah, no,
especially when a certain team that you're playing against is on a good run. I just think that even though City offensively have been brilliant, I think it's a myth. City have been offensively good all season. think it's a myth that they haven't been. I think the fact that they're
Last time we got beat with Brentford, it was December 20. When was the World Cup?
yeah,
2023. Last 2022 Brentford at home.
Yeah, that was last time you lost at home, innit? The Tony and Bramo thing, yeah.
When everyone was ghosting because of the World Cup.
Bro, I said this yesterday, and I said Liverpool, like what you said, man. If Liverpool sat back, and I generally believe this, if Liverpool played pragmatic, and if Arteta played pragmatic, I believe we both beat Man City. I believe if Liverpool parks that bus, bro, we beat Man City at Anfield. But because we're gonna go head to head and try, play against them, that couldn't work for them. And even if we did play pragmatic, we don't really have Trent to play the perfect ball all the time. You know what I'm saying? It's not because I don't think anyone can play that over the top ball as good as Trent does in our team. But genuinely,
or McAllister
or McAllister maybe. I've looked at Man City's back line, and that over the top ball, bro. That
diagonal, you mean?
Yeah, that diagonal keeps hurting them. And I'm like, how has that not been nullified? I've seen it for about 7-8 games now. I'm thinking.
But that's what happens when you play overload, though, Mont. We should know this. Look, come on, man. Like, I'm not trying to gas you up. Yeah, it's if you're gonna play overload in football, that means it's gonna be a weakness somewhere. Every system's got a weakness, and City's weakness is when they commit. Obviously, when it comes to coming back, that's why they got Walker in the team because his recovery pace is that good. Bro, he's 33 years old and he's the fastest man in the league. Who's faster than Walker?
I have this debate with so many people. You can't concede chances. You need to forget this.
Every team.
Obviously going to concede chances. I'm saying I watched City concede. I've watched City concede chances for the last 4 years. They're just that, but I'm talking.
Yeah, you know what? That's true. They actually have, and we're having the same conversation we probably did about 4 years ago.
This over the top ball, like the way it's the amount of freedom. I'm seeing a bit more freedom than usual for attackers.
Say that about your lot.
Oh yeah, no, bro.
But you give them about 3-1-1s every game. You do that on Sunday.
But we're not talking about Liverpool. We're talking about Man City.
No, do you know what it is this season? Do you know what it is for me? Every team's more open this season. It's a weird one. When was the last time you got a 0-0 in the Premier League? No one does them anymore.
I feel like parking the bus maybe last year against Man City, for me, in my opinion, wouldn't have been as effective. But this year, parking the bus against you lot, I still look at some of the chances Man United had. I look at the Chelsea game, look at the Bournemouth game. I'm thinking, why in transition a Man City looking a little bit more effective than usual? And I'm not saying you have to be perfect. I'm saying more than usual, than what I've usually seen from Man City when it comes to defending over the top ball. Like when we parked the bus at Anfield when we were shit last year, we beat you guys 1-0.
Yeah, look,
And believe me, we haven't seen Cancelo since.
No, that was because of an internal. No, that was an internal situation.
That for me is the way to beat Man City. I feel like if you go toe to toe with Man City.
By the way, stop. Cancelo wasn't out because of performance. Cancelo went out because he tried to hit the manager on the training field. Let's get that out of the way straight away.
I'm not saying. Listen, all I'm saying is.
Number two, you just said conceding chance against United. They had one chance.
Bro, Cancelo got stripped that game. He got stripped. He did get stripped. And to Cancelo,
we're not saying that, but that wasn't. Don't say because of that. That's why he was out, because it really wasn't.
Listen, we know he fell out with Pep. I know that's why he's left. But his defensive priorities got exposed that season as well.
I agree, but it wasn't because of that.
I know, but he didn't say he got
all right.
I know you want to put Liverpool there. I get it. Come on now.
You know what? Yeah. Hey, Martin, please be free on Friday. Please be free on Friday night. This would be a very good.
But again, I know Klopp's going to be he's too, same with Arteta, too stubborn to look at the game and go,
yeah, neither manager's sitting back on Sunday.
That's principles, that's structure. You believe in what you do. What's the new word? The new phrase, stand on business. I hate it. But
standing on business.
I don't think there's not many 1-0s or 0-0s this season. How many 3-1s, 4-3s, 4 each, 3 each we seeing? It's mad this year. Yeah. Everyone's just going for it. It's a real.
I'm not. People think I'm crashing it on City. I ain't crashing it on City. Like the City fans in the chat need to be a little bit less sensitive, in my opinion, because I protected you, man, and said, listen, this whole notion that you guys aren't firing the way you used to. The attack's been fine all season. It's only just maybe a few of the recent games you haven't been as potent in front of goal, but it's still been enough to win you games. And again,
Monts, it's not you. I think what it is like you said, it's like you said, oh, we got done by the ball over the top. The trouble is when United come and play a low block 10 and don't move, the only way they're going to create chances, because they're so deep, Cash, you were so deep in that second half. The only way you're going to do it is a big ball over the top to Rashford and Garnacho. But what no one's saying is, that was your outlet, but we defended it well.
We're deeper than the Mariana Trench, man. Like, honestly,
so, United were never going to tippy-tappy over the halfway line and away we go. It was always just one, because that was the only outlet for United had.
Yeah, it's true. But look, good win. I'm not going to deny it. Like, Foden magic, Rashford magic, you could say as well. But Foden.
Yeah, we're not talking about world-class Phil, have we?
Not really, but Foden he's on it. That guy, I can't lie, man. If you want to start holding people in high regards, calling them special, world class, then he's flipping. He's legendary. Then, bun it. But yeah, I think full Foden outside of, he's just a joke. England need to build around him, anyways. He's just a joke, man. He's just
because he's scattered Southgate, and he's just going to be completely not a tool and totally ignoring him.
It's not. This ain't not. Foden's been doing this all season. He's only ghosted in maybe a couple games, but most players always have a little drop off here and there. But he's been phenomenal. Lewis, someone that isn't being phenomenal is your team, Chelsea.
As usual.
Yeah. 2-2 against Brentford. Vissar, that goal was serious.
He tried to do that like 4 times in that game before actually scoring it.
What happened in your eyes, in your opinion? Because I didn't watch the game fully. I can only watch, when you go on HoFoot, everyone goes on HoFoot for extended highlights. That's all I could see. And to be fair, it's not even like you played bad, in my opinion. It's just that you didn't pull the. It seemed pretty even in my eyes. But what did you think of your game? Because I ain't got a clue.
This is just standard Chelsea. Look a little bit meaty until you score, dominate until the end of the half. Actually look like you're a little bit in control. Get to the second half and just fold immediately. Concede a goal straight off the stroke of half time. Change our structure for no reason. I see Enzo cooking in the first half in the midfield. He made about 3-4 big chances. So my manager thinks, right, let's put him at the left wing for the second half. That's going to be my idea. Let's put him back at the left wing. I saw Chilwell inverting into centre mid. Caicedo playing under social distancing rules. Gallagher holding Cole Palmer's hand. And just leaving a massive amount of space on the left-hand side as well. So individually, like, Disasi had a bad game. I felt he was just dropping off players way too much and just seemed to freeze for the first goal. The second goal is a wonder goal. I do think Gallagher can try and close down Wissa a bit quicker, because he's got about 2-3 touches in the box from Brentford players to try and react and doesn't react. But overall, like, I guess we're only good for about 20-25 minutes, and that was about it. We make the subs way too late. We only really react to going 2-1 down, and we only bring on 2 subs. Albeit it did help us get a bit more control back into the game. It was also still a little bit too late. It's just getting numb to it.
I saw this as well. Like I saw, this is what I was seeing on the people complain about. It was to the point where your central midfielders were going, like, other than Caicedo, mainly Enzo was trying to find joy by going over to the left. Like it seems like
I think it was more the manager telling him to do it, because he weren't doing that in the first half, and he was making a lot of chances from the centre. So why we just throw him onto the left-hand side in the second half? I don't know. I don't know, man. It's just it's a mixture of your team is so confused. Let me just do these couple of super chats quick. Arsenal will probably play a similar game like the first half. Big up Emmanuel, by the way. And Timber and Party will be back by the time we play City. I mean, I wouldn't put it past Party being unavailable. Yeah, I wouldn't put it past him being available, to be honest. He said, Lewis, did you watch Kid and Play 1980 show? No.
If you're from like, if you're born in the 90s, I'm not being funny. I don't think you're watching 80s shows. Maybe. Yeah.
I'll have a look.
Born in the 80s, and I didn't want to watch 80 shows.
Yeah, people saying, well, I see Charles through and through says, Caicedo played well. Don't tell Monts though. Look, man, look, Chelsea are just a confusing team. Once we were talking about it briefly yesterday when you obviously decided to start the pot with Don and myself and Daps and whatnot. But I can't lie, yeah, I'm kind of conceding this in my thoughts a little bit about Chelsea, and feel free to jump in your thoughts, Liz, because this is the team you support. I don't really think it matters what manager you get in.
In terms of what?
Because don't get me wrong, a lot of your players are young. I hear it. And I don't think one window now, especially when you need to sell 100 million just to keep things afloat and then you can go pay for whatever you want to pay for.
That's if we make Europe.
I don't think a striker solves your situation. I think the thing is, I think Mont said this ages ago. If it was away and you had a different manager, you'd probably be 6 points more better, maybe. You might be even a little bit worse. You never know. It doesn't. You can name whatever name you want to name, but it doesn't mean there's no guarantees of it. Because the way I look at it, it's the same thing that City fans like Martin would tell me about Man United, or Monts about Man United, or even about other teams. Until you sort out your back room, your board, and all of that stuff, I don't think it's going to really get any much better for you. Maybe you might hit 8th or 7th. Great, whoopsie-doo. You might get a couple players better here and there, but I think every other team is strengthening the same way Chelsea was strengthened. I'm not saying you got bad players, but I don't think anything's going to really change because I don't see the direction that Chelsea are going in. Because you get rid of Poch, right? But then you're good. I would think that your backroom would just go get a manager that plays a completely different style, and then all of a sudden you need to clear out another couple players or so before you can go get the players in again. That's the way I view it. I could be wrong, but this is just an opinion. I don't know what any of you lot think about that, but I don't think it gets better for them.
I hear it now. Well, now to a point, because like it was so late now that I don't know how it can impact us unless we literally go on a winning run. But we're literally at rock bottom with this manager. Like, getting a better manager wouldn't solve everything, but it would be a start. It would just be a positive start. And I get maybe it would only end up with us 6th or 7th or something like that. But I mean, that's still a massive positive compared to where we are. That'll be a much better step forward than just sitting in 10th, 11th, or just struggling to maintain our position in the top half of the table under him.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I hear it, but it's only to a point. Like, getting a striker in, everyone says we need a number 9. If we had a number 9, we would just be a worse version of United under Ollie. Just individual brilliance every week and a striker to try and paper over the cracks of his awful game management. The fact that our set pieces have gotten down, our defensive structure is a mess, and all of that comes from the coach. All of that comes from the coach. So there would be a change with a new manager. The level of change is different. Like, I'm not going to say we're going to get a new manager and immediately start playing in title contention form. I'm not saying that. I still think there's going to be ups and downs. But right now, there's barely any ups. Barely any.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, I just don't see. I think the two teams better to even talk about this. Look, I know about the vicious cycle. I know it way too well. But someone that knows, like, I guarantee when they get rid of Klopp, there's not going to be much difference in the way they play too tough. I think they have to have a difference, but they'll identify somebody. But because their board is in tune and they got good recruitment and know what players they want to get, it will work and it will look better than Chelsea still. Even though because they maybe because they have the players, but I wouldn't say Chelsea's players on paper.
They've got the players. They've had a structure in place for the last 7 years.
Man City, the Martin will tell you all about it. But because you know what I look at Chelsea, is winning trophies. And where I look for Chelsea is, and teams in general that win trophies, it all starts from your board. Because without the board, you're never going to win trophies because they have to be in tune and know what players, recruitment, identity. What's your 5-year plan? No one here can tell me, sit here and tell me they know what Chelsea's 5-year plan is, because I don't. You get another player manager, like let's say Ruben Amorim, who's been linked with you quite heavily. His whole structure, bro, the players that you got now are nowhere near what he needs. Nowhere near. Because there's a whole different style from what we know from Sporting Lisbon. And then you get rid of him and it's like, who's next? Who plays similar? Free-flowing football, 3-4-3, all of that stuff. It makes no sense to me. I don't know about what you think about Chelsea Monts at this moment of time in terms of getting better, but do you see it getting better? I said Chelsea, not individuals. I don't want to hear about Caicedo.
Don't start that again. Let's not do the Caicedo thing again.
Nah, it's fine. I won't crash on Caicedo this time, innit? I just think one thing I would say is that I don't know if money is the answer. Like, you lot are still not. When I say you lot, some of the Chelsea fans are still kind of waiting for that refreshment, that transfer dopamine. Like spending $1 billion, and then all of a sudden, still thinking signings could be the answer is crazy to me. And I also think that the management, I also think management-wise, it's a cycle that isn't going to be broken for a long time, in my opinion, simply because Chelsea's, as an institute, again, it's hire and fire. And if you're not performing to a certain standard while improving as you go along, then it's not deemed good enough. But in today's game in football, it's very rare to find a manager who's going to hit the ground running, or at least, show minor signs of improvement, because he's not going to last more than 2 years. Unfortunately, Chelsea, if you don't want to move anywhere significant, you're going to have to find the manager and give him 5 years, no matter how bad it gets. As long as it's not, again, it all depends where that bar of this isn't good enough lies. I remember where that bar used to be 5th and 6th place, and you're gone at Chelsea Football Club. Now the bar is kind of dropped to 8th, 9th, I guess. If you're dwelling around there, no matter what the vision, no matter what the long-term vision is, you're probably going to lose your job. And then once the manager loses the job, the players are in long-term contracts. So you don't know what's going to happen with the players. The signings aren't really made by the manager. It's an institutional signing. So again, any new manager that comes in has to adapt to players that aren't his. And then when he doesn't adapt to the players that aren't his, they're going to want the manager out. And then again, the players still aren't good enough after spending loads of money. And it happens again and again and again and again. And next thing you know, it's 10 years down the line and nothing's happening at Chelsea. I think at least under Abramovich, the ruthless hire and fire regime would work because you get the best of the best. Now you guys aren't even getting the best of the best. You're getting your pants pulled down for signings like Enzo and Caicedo and these guys, rather than looking at the actual guys like Gusto and Palmer, who are real football, proper footballers. Do you know what I'm saying? I think you gotta get your recruitment spot on for whoever comes in through the door, because it's difficult now. Because under Abramovich, this all would have been fine, calm. Under Abramovich, I'd say Chelsea will go win another 2 cups next year, regardless of what's going on. I'd say that confidently. You go win another 2 trophies regardless. You've even got to a final this year and could get to another one. It's in your DNA to win trophies, but this is only going to last too long. And I think it's similar to Man United. It's kind of a vicious cycle until that either the hierarchy changes or you just give someone 5 years regardless of how bad it gets. That's my
opinion. Yeah, no, you're spot on. And this is why, for me, I understand the getting rid of Poch. I do get it. But the trouble is, and Monchi just said it perfectly, you can't say, here's all these players, sat you, bring another manager in. He goes, don't fancy some of them. All right, well, I'll give you $1 billion. And at some point, you're going to end up with like City were in 1998 with 300 players just roaming down the training ground and don't know where to go. And then the trouble is, because you put them on such long-term contracts with such high wages, you're never going to get rid, unless you do it at a massive loss or mass. And then it's not just a loss of the thing; it's then the wages that they sign for a new club. They're going to have to take a wage hit. And then the other thing is, you're selling a lot of your prize, like homegrown off, for your amortization, which I do fully understand, because we do the same. That's why Palmer left, because it was nearly 50 million in the bank up front.
Profit.
All onto your books as profit. But the trouble is, you're then going to get rid of all them, but you'll run out of them eventually. To me, it's this circle that is never going to end. It's like United have still, because you've still got players there from 5-6 years ago, 7 years ago, and you're like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
It's like Newcastle
Those
have got
players
players
get
that
5 years down the line
stuff.
and you end up writing them off. We're not really at that position with a lot of these players. I think the only player that you could really write off and say, you know what, we should probably get rid of if there's a better option, Gallagher, Chilwell, Sterling. That's about it.
Chilwell needs to go.
Chilwell's the worst captain I've ever seen at this football club. Sterling just is too inconsistent for someone who's meant to be one of the veterans and leaders in the team. Silva's respectfully starting to decline.
Sterling without a number 9 is useless. He said that.
I could have told you that when you signed him up, that he was inconsistent. That was the reason we got rid.
Yeah, it was just we had Mount and Havertz and the bar was in hell. So it's like he'll raise it a little bit. But
Mm.
it's only been a little bit.
Yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't say Chelsea overpay for these players because you look at their wage structure; it's actually not bad at all.
Everyone tries to act like we've got players on overly inflated wages. It's only Nkuku and Enzo on over 150.
Yeah, Solomon says a system and little coaching goes a long way. We're not seeing either of them, and that's what I mean, Solomon, about identity as well. It's what identity you're gonna go for. We don't know. A lot of these players as well. I think there's a lot of imbalance within your midfield, and it's like you paid 100.
Our identity is to ball it.
The thing is that look, just to wrap up a little bit on Chelsea is, for me is Caicedo, Enzo pivot will never work. And the thing is, when you pay so much money for one, you have to play them. It's as simple as that. You made that, you have to play them. So how are you gonna fit in? Pause. But and all that kind of stuff.
We haven't even tried to play them together. We split them apart half the time.
Even if you have Caicedo, Enzo, Palmer, that's still imbalanced. It don't work. There's not enough legs in there, in my opinion, especially for the Premier League, the way it's going and the way
we probably just need Lavia back, if anything.
Yeah,
I feel like we're trying to do what we want with Lavia, but with Enzo and Gallagher as two of the eights, and like Gallagher just isn't it. Maybe have Lavia as one thing deep and he puts them both forwards.
In a 4-4-2, we have seen Enzo and Caicedo work, but clearly it doesn't work, consistently enough. But
look, Lavia is everything. Yeah, Lavia is still relatively unknown. He had one season at Southampton. One.
Yeah, and obviously
not got anything since.
Yeah, yet to see what Reece James can do if he comes back and stays fit. If he can stay fit, if not,
Reece can take his time respectfully. We got Gusto cooking. I don't need to rush him back for the first time in years.
Yeah. Moving on just to the last little part, because we like to talk a little bit about Liverpool league leaders.
You better put Mods full screen.
Yeah, Mods,
here we go. The loving begins.
Jamie win, but you got the win. And you know what? And they're going to talk about cheats and stuff like that. I find it ironic when City fans are calling out like the refs are cheating for Liverpool and want them to win. I'm not being funny, but do not forget about the hand of Rod. I think it's justice served between the title races, isn't it?
What we say is there's a difference in the way things are said. When City win 1-0, oh, the crap. Liverpool win 0, sign of champions. It's like, come on.
No, that's not it. That's not the narrative. No, that's for Arsenal. If Arsenal win one, Arsenal won the way they did, they would not be getting no props. Liverpool always get props. Don't get me wrong. City is just City, isn't it? Like, what
we'll get a crisis video if we draw the game.
Yeah, bro,
you're not the same. You're not the same.
I'll keep that back, man. We were shit.
Yeah, you were
shit. Wow. First honest one I've heard all weekend. Go on, man.
We were shit, but we got over the line. We done what we needed to do.
I can't lie. The Joe Gomez, you did have Joe Gomez in DM. That gimmick has got to stop. He's trying to do his best Fergie impression of putting Phil Jones in DM.
Bro, look at City. Look at City. You got John Stones, Rodri, KDB. You look at that's the midfield they started. Look at Arsenal's one. They got obviously Jorginho, Rice, and Odegaard. We rocked up with Clark, Bob Clark, Joe Gomez in the 6 in 2024, and obviously McAllister. To be fair, McAllister's the one, and McAllister don't even play RCM. He plays LCM, so he weren't even in this position either. I'm looking at this midfield, and I'm like, Jurgen, I get there's no one there, but Joey in the 6, brother, at Southampton, that Donny, he was drowning. First half, he got bullied. He got rushed in the alleyway. It was nuts. But regardless, I don't think defensively we were that bad. I think Nottingham Forest got in a few times, more times than I'd like. But so did Southampton on the weekend. I've come to concede that Liverpool just concede mad chances every game, innit? We're due a spanking at some point this season. I don't know when it's going to come, but we concede enough chances. Keller is doing it again. I don't know where he's drinking the Alisson potion because he's doing it again. More one-on-one saves. The one against Elanga was ridiculous. I'm thinking, how is he doing this? And boy, listen, McAllister,
he had a good game.
Talk about signings, innit? See what McAllister's doing in these moments. He's saving us again. I think that's 4 assists in his last 3 games.
He's dictating the game as well, to be fair.
Yeah, dictating games to drop his shoulder and then dink the ball into Nunes under pressure in that moment as a perfect delivery, and obviously doing what he did in the last few games as well. Going forward, he's been, McAllister's doing his thing, man. He's just a tidy footballer, and he's just a mad, tidy, technical, intelligent footballer, and you need those guys.
He needs to do more. He needs to do more, though. He needs to do more. He needs to do more in terms of, it's the same thing at Brighton. You've got the ability to do these sort of passes. Like lately, you've probably seen him switching it a lot more. Didn't see that at Brighton too much, but he's got that in his locker. The thing to Nunes, I've seen that happen now a few times this season where he's hooked it and they've got a goal from it because he's got that in his locker. It's a good sign. He might go down as one of the better signings of the season, to be honest.
I think if he keeps this up, he will go down as one of the better
People
signings.
forget he cost 35 million.
It was his release clause. I reckon if he didn't have a release clause, I reckon we probably would have to front about 70 M's for him if it wasn't his release clause, innit? But I'm looking at the fact that now that he's playing in the 8 and not the 6, I think that's why we're seeing more of this sort of ability from him. I think in the 6, you can't really do that all the time unless you're playing with a partner and whatnot. And I feel like now he's kind of settling in. I still think the first 2-3 months for him were difficult. I still feel like he did struggle to settle in a little bit in the midfield, but now he's becoming one of the more,
because he was in the 6. That's why.
But he can. I still feel like even if you're not, listen, John Stones weren't a 6. Like, certain man, the players are able. Kiwior ain't a left back. Certain man can play different positions. Ake is not a left back, but you still keep your principles the same. And I think at the start of the season, McAllister's principles were sometimes, I looked at it and go, you don't lose the ball there. Don't lose the ball there. And he was losing the ball in positions he didn't need to do that in, regardless of whether he's an 8 or a 6 or plays in the pivot. You don't lose the ball in the positions he was losing the ball in. But now he's maturing very quickly. People understand he's only 24, 25. He's not even like it's not like he's 30 or he's 29. Like, he's still got a few years on him. And for me, I'm really like what I'm seeing. Even Luis Diaz, I've come to accept from Luis Diaz now that he's not the player he was because of the injury, but he is running his socks off for this club. And while Salah and Nunes have been injured, he's the constant that's been getting us over the line, because Gakpo ain't been good enough. You know what I'm saying? He's the one that's been getting us over the line and really looking the best attacker we have, even though I wouldn't even say Diaz is top 3 in terms of the best attackers we've had this season. So I'm really impressed with the fact that we managed to dig deep and get the result. But the bottom line is we weren't very good yesterday. We weren't bad, but we weren't good enough to win the game, in my opinion. We had a few opportunities. It was a cagey game, and we didn't do enough to unlock their defense. I think it's as simple as that. Anyone who says Liverpool were brilliant and scintillating are lying to themselves. You're looking. It's rose tinted glasses. That is what it is. But that game last minute puts us in a much better position to play against Man City than drawing that game. You draw that game, and the narrative going into the City game is way worse. So it's about what the win has done, not about so much what the performance has done. We've won every single game in 2024, apart from the Arsenal game where we got bad. Yeah. And I think this notion that we haven't been that good is a lie.
You're gonna lose at Old Trafford as well, like in the Premier League.
We'll get there, but we'll get there when we get there. But I just think that
I need to get
to say that the refs have been on our side, like for Arsenal fans especially, to say the refs have been on our side after Odegaard literally cupped that football like a D-cup breast, for me is ridiculous, isn't it? Ridiculous, bro. So yeah, I'm not really hearing the ref thing. It's swings and roundabouts, and it is what it is. I'm just happy to get the win, man. Darwin Núñez, I gave him his praises as well, to come off the bench as well and to score that goal in that moment. Speechless, really. It's just what...
You're lucky that you got 4 returning players for Sunday. Like, honestly, Salah, all of them. Because honestly, if you did field that sort of team against the Man City, I would not have.
If we fielded that against it, we're losing 3-0 in our back. We're holding 3 or 4 in our backyard. 100%. Yeah, 100%.
But yeah, man. Look, man. Good win. Well, not really. Well, it's a good win, obviously, for you lot. I hope Man City batter you lot on Sunday. But yeah, man, we're going to get there when we get there. Tottenham obviously won. Decent win against Crystal Palace. Not that nobody didn't predict that anyways. And then Newcastle finally getting back to winning ways and so forth. And then, yeah, Aston Villa keeping up the pressure. Last minute win against Luton. But yeah, big up everyone. I'll be dropping a video later about Arsenal and some other stuff. And we'll be back tomorrow as well. Big up Martin. Make sure to subscribe to In the Mancunian Way. There's obviously Lewis as well on the road to 50k. And then Monsters on the road to 10K on obviously Big Six Bants. Just make sure you can see it there. If you don't know where it is, that's how you spell it. But yeah, man, we'll be back tomorrow on a live. I'll be dropping some videos as well. But yeah, Mons, where's your apology for Darwin? Yeah, Virgil's saying.
I'm confused. Why do I need to apologize?
Oh, he doesn't even want to apologize for Hoyland, so there's no point. So it's not. It's whatever.
Can I just say, Cass, by the way, big up to GMP for getting rid of that idiot yesterday. I would say, and
Oh, yeah, that one.
Oh,
about
what,
the tragedy singing.
The one doing the
about
helicopter thing.
yeah.
No, the helicopter thing.
the plane thing.
Yeah,
Big up
plane.
GMP for that.
Oh,
And it was City and United fans. City and United fans reported it, so
Yeah,
hopefully he gets banned for life.
probably will. It definitely will. But yeah, in a bit, and we'll be back tomorrow on the live at. Just remember this: 12 p.m. It's always 12 p.m. And yeah, man, in a bit.